Hey, welcome. Get your fix, episode 46 of the Illinois. I'm here with my favorite person, my co-host, Neha. How you doing again, babe?
Doing great, Joe. How's it going with you?
Better, because I'm with you, of course. We've got some stuff popping out with the business playbook, right? Why don't you let everybody know?
Absolutely. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to the Business Playbook and the Illinois. So we had Art here last week, and next week we're going to have another business joining us. So make sure you're tuning in.
Art Kachenko from what's his business again?
Gold Shield Services.
Gold Shield Services. Great guy. I know I mentioned that in the last one, but just great guy. Really happy to have met Art, and hopefully people will choose him when they want.
Yes, if they need an electrician, they can go to Art.
He's a really smart guy. He knows his stuff. Really great story. I hope you guys, can check that out because you kind of learn a lot about a guy, and it says a lot about people in business, anyways. Like he basically, and really just to make it really succinct here real quick, but he basically was working for someone else, and he was like, this ain't working. Like I don't agree with this, but so he decided to take the leap of faith and do his own thing, and he's really thriving, and he's really well known, and he's great. Anyway, again, it was a lot of fun. So check that out. So this is the NBA edition of.
Actually, it's a basketball edition because we do NBA and college hoops.
You corrected me last time, and you're absolutely right. Correct. But there is a lot more to speak about with the NBA. So we'll kind of go with that, and then. Yeah, so
we will cover some college hoops for all you college kids.
Yes. So when we talked in the NFL edition, we talked about that there was an undefeated NFL team, and that's Kansas City Chiefs, 10-0. And in the NBA, there's currently one undefeated team as well.
Actually, there are two. Because I think you're going to mention one, but I actually know of another.
In the NBA?
NBA, there's two.
Okay, I'm interested.
Unless it's changed since you wrote the itinerary.
Who's saying who wrote what? Who's the other team? Now you got me. So
is it Cavaliers and OKC?
No, OKC lost.
Did they lose yesterday?
I know they have at least one loss.
Okay, well they're
really good.
They're the best in the West.
They're the best in the West. And actually
that rhymes.
Yes. It does rhyme. Good job. But the Cavs are undefeated. Can you name two players out in the Cavs?
Donovan Mitchell.
I knew you were going to come strong with them.
And I'm going to also say Jared Allen. And I'm also going to say Evan Mobley. And Darius Garland.
And they used to have a guy named Mark Price and LeBron James, but they don't play them anymore. But the Cavs are crushing it right now. The Cavs, they look really good. The great thing about that team, just watching them play, is they're young. And so if I was a fan,
but they wouldn't be young if they still had LeBron James.
No, then they'd be old.
They'd be the oldest team,
right? But it's really fun watching them play. They play a very selfless way of playing basketball, where everybody kind of touches it and everything else. So they're the top dog in the West. Yeah, OKC is definitely right up there, but the Suns and the Warriors are as well. But with OKC, they lost their second best player, a guy named Chet Holmgren, who was a rookie last year. He's a freak, almost kind of like Wemby. Basically, he's almost as tall as Wemby.
And also maybe like another Anthony Edwards.
So Anthony Edwards is 6'4", and the guys I'm talking about are like 7'5". So no, but
you say when you say freak, no.
Oh, well played. Okay, I like the cut of your jib. Actually, drink your coffee. But and then also the Suns look good, but Kevin Durant's out for the Suns, and Holmgren's out for OKC. But the Warriors are surprising everybody. In fact, there was another night from.
They said on this today that the game of the year was the game of the Warriors against the Mavericks.
Yeah, and we're gonna cover that in a little bit, but we'll come back to that. But
all right.
But I would just
I'm waiting.
The reason I'm trying to say that though is like I would say the Cavaliers are the best team in the, and then Boston's probably right after Cleveland. But then in the West right now, I think Golden State might be the best team right now because they're healthy and Steph doesn't seem to age. So it's been really exciting. Now, a team in the East that was supposed to do really well this year was the Philadelphia 76ers. And the Philadelphia 76ers are led by an amazing 7-footer, previous MVP.
Joel Embiid.
And Joel Embiid has an issue that a lot of tall people have. And that is he always gets hurt. And so he hadn't played at all year. He finally came back yesterday or 2 days ago. Yesterday, depending on when you're watching this, could be 3 days ago, 4 days ago, when you're watching this. But he's back, so we'll see what that goes. They did sign Paul George, which was the number one free agent in free agency, and then they also have this young star named Tyrone Maxey. So we'll see. But when Joel Embiid is out there playing and healthy, that team is pretty scary. The issue is the healthy part, because he never seems to be healthy. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so NBA is kind of back in the flow. We were watching the Heat and the Pistons game yesterday.
I know, and the end was just like, what?
It was crazy. It was crazy. Do you remember what happened?
I mean, basically, Eric Stoltz was like,
Eric Stoltz is an actor. But that's way funnier, so I hope you keep that.
I mean, I'm trying to keep the name straight. I mean, there's so many.
Eric Spoelstra.
I mean, I just try to get it there, near there.
So basically, and I've watched basketball off and on for a long time, and I've never seen a game end this way. Basically, at the end of the game, Eric Spoelstra, who is known to be, along with like Greg Popovich with the Spurs and maybe Steve Kerr with the Warriors, the best coach in the NBA. He's one of the best coaches in the NBA.
Yeah, and, like, knows their stuff, like, to the T.
Like, that's to the T. So he actually tried to call a timeout at the end of the game. Well, there's one problem.
Oh, they didn't have a timeout.
So they lost. Game over.
I'm pretty sure that they did have a timeout.
No, well, I don't. Well, I think they would know that.
I thought they had a timeout.
You were sitting there counting timeouts?
I mean, shouldn't they have had a timeout?
Well, if they didn't use all their other timeouts, they would have. But I think they used that last timeout, so they ended up losing because of that.
Well, I guess that's no longer I'm a Pistons fan.
Well, you should be a Pistons fan because the Pistons won. But were you ever a Pistons fan?
Yeah, I mean, my cousins used to live in Detroit, and I actually went to a Pistons game once.
Who's your favorite Detroit Pistons player of all time?
Grant Hill.
Nice.
What up?
Grant Hill was awesome. Grant Hill had like the first 6 years of his career. He came into the league right after he retired for the first time, and like the NBA was like a vacuum, like trying to like get somebody like fill his shoes. Like who's going to be now the face?
Oh, you mean Phil Jackson? Like Phil?
No, well played. No, no, not Phil Jackson. But to fill his shoes, and Grant Hill immediately was kind of looking like that dude, and then he ended up getting hurt, but he was so great. Do you remember any other Pistons from you? I mean, our age difference is pretty big. So Grant Hill, okay, I'll give you Grant Hill. He was awesome and good pull too. I think he came on the league 30 years ago, so that's a really good pull. I'm proud of you.
I mean, I'm not that young.
But you look like you're like 20. I mean, I look like I'm like 80,
Thanks.
but you look like you're like 20. So anyways, really, really crazy.
You look like you're 80.
All right. Also, I think it's been really awesome watching Victor Wembanyama or Webby.
Yeah, have you seen that new commercial he's in? He looks amazing.
That is good.
And he doesn't even have that much of an accent.
No, he does not.
I wouldn't go, what? Like, it's not happening.
No,
he talks like he's like smooth, like American flow. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, and he's got a really deep voice too for somebody that's like 19. He's like, hey, how you doing? All of a sudden I did Rocky. All of a sudden, hey, how you doing? But he just continues to get better. The league's in trouble because he's now starting to hit his three-pointers, and the dude's like 7'6". So I want you to think for a second. So for those who don't know, I got a couple inches on my co-host, right? And if
like a foot,
almost a foot. So if
basically over a foot.
So if you are like guarding me, it's so easy for me to shoot over you because your reach, right, it's not going to be anywhere close to me, right? So, and that's like a 3-pointer, like when you 3-pointer, you're coming back. So he's over 7 feet. He's cocking the back the ball back to like his head. So when he releases it, it's impossible to block his shot. And if he's shooting threes and making threes, like I said, NBA's in trouble. I'm calling it now. He's going to be the NBA Defensive Player of the Year. Calling it now. He's going to be top 5 MVP candidate. Calling it now. The rest of the league is in trouble. The only thing that's going to stop Wemby is his height. Because a lot of times guys that are really tall end up having foot issues and a lot of different injuries like we talked about with Embiid. But if not, watch out. Now, also, I do want to talk about something that meant a lot to me. So, you know, the Warriors, and I know how much you love Golden State. The Warriors, their fulcrum, their base was always Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and then Klay Thompson. Those guys were the guys. And in fact, all
the Splash Brothers.
Splash Brothers were Steph and Klay because they're the best shooting backcourt in NBA history. And Klay Thompson was a free agent at the end of this year, and the Golden State Warriors decided, you know, we got to move on. We got to move on, Klay. We don't want to pay you what you want. Messing with this screen here. We don't want to pay you what you. I wasn't really trying to show my shirt. We don't want to pay you what you think you're worth. So he went to the Mavericks. Well, yesterday, as we were watching,
as was already mentioned,
we watched the Mavericks come to Golden State, and I know
Klay gave Steph a hug and Steve Kerr a hug.
But what I thought, that's very true because they're always going to be blood brothers, you know, go through war with each other and stuff like that. But what I thought was really beautiful was the standing ovation that the Golden State Warriors gave Klay. Because they're just thanking him like, hey, listen, we don't have 4 championships without you, Klay. You know, and I can even think of one year in particular where he snapped off to like win it to like help him get to the finals. He was forever known as Game 6 Klay because he just like had this amazing Game 6 against the OKC Thunder back in the day when they had come into Rampart. It was awesome. I love stuff like that in sports anyways. I love when people get their roses, people get their props. I love when fans get a chance to say thank you, which is what they did. Mm-hmm. Klay Thompson's always like, he was like a great guy in the community, a wonderful player. Like I say, they don't win those championships without Klay. So it was really cool to see. Lastly, what we were going to talk about, and you kind of suggested this one.
I mean, I've really been a big proponent for college players, especially after this past year with the women's college basketball. There's another phenom coming in, especially with the men's college basketball. Cooper Flagg, he's from Duke, and he's just been amazing. His skills have been just unbelievable.
Absolutely.
He is the next phenom in the men's college basketball arena. I think he's on pace to be the number 1 draft in the next NBA draft. Next year, 2025. So yeah, we all need to have our eyes open for this.
Cooper Flagg.
I'm sure all of you have already heard about him.
But
he's just amazing.
It really is amazing. And, it's really kind of neat seeing a guy like him. He was just like LeBron James was, but he was like a child phenom. And like people like knew about him like when he was in junior high, freshman year or something. And it's cool to see that he went to Duke. Duke's got this long history. And it's cool to see that he's performing well too.
Yeah, like Duke, they always play against UNC, or is it North Carolina? UNC. Yep. It's always like every year they play a game.
Yeah, the schools are like crazy close to each other. Duke and North Carolina, by the way.
I think they're are they in Chapel Hill?
North Carolina's in Chapel Hill. Duke's in, I don't know. We'll come back to that.
Durham?
Not in Germany. No, Durham.
Durham
is Duke.
Chapel Hill it's not far away.
They're like next town over.
Didn't some of your good friends go there for the game?
Yeah. Went to see them and stuff. So, anyways, thank you so much for joining us. As always, we appreciate it. We want to keep going. We want to keep growing. We hope you guys are liking the little more bite-sized editions we're doing, breaking down the NFL
and make sure you're tuning into the Business Playbook. Make sure you like and subscribe to both of our channels.
Yes.
The Illinois, the Illinois, and the Illinois Business Playbook. Make sure you read them all in the description, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.